'Twas the week before NAMM, when all through the house no gear was appearing, not even a No, that's not true. There's loads this week. Prepare to get gas because it's time for the weekend gear. Yeah, you would think that because the NAMM show is happening next week, guitar companies would hold back the good stuff for another 7 days or so, but that is not the case, as NAMM pre-releases are already trickling out. So, once again, I've put together my favorite releases of the week, but as I'm at NAMM next week, I'm purposefully leaving out a few releases, as I will bring you actual accurate videos featuring those products from the NAMM show floor next week. Speaking of show, this show is brought to you by Truefire. More about them in a bit. Okay, let's kick off this week's most exciting gear releases with some budget offerings from Mooer. There is no doubt that Mooer's lineup is getting more and more exciting. This week, they announced 2 new additions to the X2 series. First up is the Tender Octaver X2, an octave pedal that offers both an
upper octave
and a lower octave. You can turn each of those octaves on or off with its own foot switch and independently adjust the level and tone of each octave and set the direct level too. There are 14 preset slots available, which can be controlled and saved using a little button on the pedal or the foot switches, so live use should be an absolute doddle. Now, I haven't played them yet, but I took a listen to the release videos, and the octaves sound a little bit fake on their own, but mix that with some reverb and some fuzz, and away we go. It's priced at around $150, which really is kind of the lower end of a price of a pedal that can do all this. Next, the Harmony X2, a dual foot switch, dual harmony effect. Now, this pedal adds 2 harmonies to your guitar signal and can be used in mono or stereo. I'm going into hand signals a lot this week. Anyway, you can set the interval of each harmony and the level of each of these 3 signals. You can also choose between major and minor scales of any note and also save presets. This one could be really fun, especially with like a stereo delay, and at $150, it should be achievable for those who want to live in harmony. And number 4 this week, is it a guitar? Is it an amp? Is it a multi-effects? Is it a drum machine? Well, yes, it's the Vox APC-1, a 6-string travel guitar that does it all. Well, almost. The APC-1 is a small-bodied guitar aimed at the player on the go. The built-in speaker is a wide directional speaker, giving you 180 degrees of dispersion, which means you can hear yourself clearly when you're playing it, and you should be able to avoid feedback from the onboard humbucker pickup. There are 4 effects on board. I'm bored? You're bored? I hope you're not. There are 4 onboard effects: tremolo, chorus, reverb, and delay. Got a rhythm? The APC-1 has 11 of them built in to the rhythm player. There's also an auxiliary input, headphone out, and a 1/4-inch jack output for sending stuff to an amp. Although I'm not sure if that sends just the guitar or the guitar and the rhythms, so we'll have to find out at some point. But if that's not enough, it also has a built-in tuner, so regardless of whether you like the shape or the colors, the APC-1 has pretty much everything you need to at least practice guitar when you're traveling. Now, the sound samples in the Vox video sound rather muddy and muffled to me, but if Vox can bring this out at a price that makes buying it a no-brainer, then I would certainly grab one for my camper van. And I reckon anywhere around, say, $250 would secure it for me. I'd pray for $199, maybe push to $279. But I don't think it's... I bet it's going to be $399 now. I don't know. An official price has not been announced yet, but place your guesses in the comments section. We'll find out soon because it will be available from July 2024, hopefully just in time, fingers crossed and thumbs pressed, for when I go on holiday. Before we get to number 3 on the list, it's now time to talk about this week's sponsor, Truefire. Truefire have over 80,000 online guitar lessons. How about learning from players like Andy Timmons or Greg Koch or Orianthi, or Steve Vai. Now, the reason that I learn from Truefire is because they have these interactive lessons with split-screen camera angles and on-screen tabs. You can purchase lessons individually, and I've done that in the past, or you can sign up for streaming access to all courses and song lessons. During this holiday period, you can get a year of access for a discounted $99, and if you're watching this when that sale is over, just use the promo code in the video description and you'll still get a discount. And one of my favorite courses that I've bought has to be the 50 Guitar Licks You Must Know series. If you also take that course, you might recognize where I've been stealing certain licks from. So if you want access to over 1,500 lessons from more than 400 artists and educators, follow the link in the video description and let Truefire help you become a better guitar player today. By the way, we're back to weekly shows now, and if you're enjoying it and you get your information here and I'm, part of your life, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up so more people get to see it in the future. That's how YouTube works. You help me, I help you. I help you, you help me. Thank you! Third on the list is the official relaunch of Gibson amplifiers. Joking aside, before we get into it, I must apologize to Gibson, as I may have suggested that these amplifiers would be ridiculously expensive and just a cash grab. Quite simply, they're not, and they may even be seen as rather affordable compared to what I had expected. There are two models so far, the Falcon 5, which is a 7-watt combo, and the Falcon 20, which is a 12-watt combo. The 5 being equipped with a 10-inch Jensen Blackbird speaker and the 20 being equipped with a 12-inch Blackbird speaker. Both amps have tube-driven reverb, but the 20 also has foot-switchable tremolo. Controls for the 5 are volume, tone, and reverb, while the 20 also has controls for depth and frequency of that tremolo. In the release videos, the amps sound, quite frankly, fantastic. I love the grunty, overdriven, fuzzy sounds that you get from a relatively small amp being pushed. And the cleaner, jazzier, bluesier, sort of cleanish sounds are also extremely pleasing. And then there's that price. It's $1,499 for the Falcon 5 and $1,799 for the Falcon 20, which I think is reasonable, considering they're made in America and, what it could have been. So those prices, it seems that Gibson have finally learned their lesson and they've made something genuinely good at a price that is acceptable. So, again, I was wrong, and once again, I apologize for thinking that the Gibson management would take this amp release as an opportunity to just please its shareholders by, further muddying the legacy of rock and roll legends created by geniuses of the past that had nothing to do with them, by making a product that is, smothered in marketing and way, way, way overpriced. Typical Gibson. But they've changed. At number 2 this week, Gibson are back with their most authentic pickup yet that is guaranteed to make you sound better, play better, look better, and even sleep better. Yes, they reverse-engineered their original PAF pickups from the golden era of rock and roll using science. And this limited edition set that comes in a beautiful brown leather case with pink plush furry lining can be yours for only $999 for pickups. You get 2. This is brilliant. If I had €1 for every time Gibson marketed their pickups as the most accurate recreation of original PAFs yet, I'd almost be able to afford a set of these. But I could do a whole show on why I think this is ridiculous, but it is so ridiculous, you can just keep it short. And also, I'll leave that to my friend Glenn Fricker and, other friends. All I will say is, thank you, Gibson, for giving me a little chuckle, a little belly laugh, and answering the question, what would happen if you let accountants design a pickup? These 1959 Humbucker Collector's Edition Series 1 are so not for me, but there will surely be some Gibson collectors out there chomping at the bit with credit card in the hand. On the other hand, I'm not going to yuck someone's yum, and if they do appeal to you, and you can live with 50% of your vital organs, go for it. You got pretty far on half a brain, is what I would say if I were that kind of person. But I'm not. You go on. It's fine. The funny thing is, it is easy for us to dump on Gibson because it's fun and it's so Gibson, but these aren't even the most expensive pickups available. They even make, at $1,000, the $299 Greenie Buckers seem cheap. And if anyone genuinely out there buys some and puts them in a guitar, please let me know what it feels like to own this piece of authentic history. Genuinely.
Pick of the week.
At number 1 this week is a tough choice because there were 2 fuzz pedals released this week. One tube-driven fuzz called the Silt from Walrus Audio, which I haven't played yet, and I want to desperately, and I will soon. And one beautifully encased versatile fuzz from Beetronics called the Abelha Tropical Fuzz, which I have played. So my pick of the week is this. The Abelha Tropical Fuzz from Beetronics, just because I've played it and it makes noises that touch my very heart and soul. If you have one fuzz pedal, make it this Abelha Tropical Fuzz. And sorry to Beetronics for probably mispronouncing that. The Abelha Tropical Fuzz has 3 different fuzz options. Honey, which is a high gain drive, Nectar, which is a more rounded full drive, and Pollen, which is a spitty, nasty, battery-dying fuzz that you wouldn't want to take home to your parents. There's also normal mode and tropical mode, which engages a high-pass filter, which turns the fuzz into a more cutting, aggressive sound. Now, I reviewed this a few days ago. It's still fresh in my mind. And, wow, it not only is the best fuzz of 2024 so far. It's January, yeah, I know. It could be the only fuzz that I would take to a gig or recording session because it gives you almost everything you need from a fuzz, from like a vintage 60s fuzz to a modern gated fuzz and a shoegaze noise. And if you are curious about Beetronics pedals, this is the one to get. The only downside is that all of that comes at a price, which is just over $300. That is a lot for one fuzz. But this isn't one fuzz. It's at least 3, and then if you add in the tropical mode, it's 6. So justify it that way. 6 pedals for the price of 1. Overall, I feel like Beetronics made this pedal just for me. That's how much I love it. And if I've tempted you enough and piqued your curiosity, I'll link to that video at the end of this one. Thank you to the wonderful people that support this show on Patreon. Their names are on screen now. And also thank you to the lovely ones showing their support right here on YouTube. Their names are also coming up on the screen. If you would like your name up in lights, then click the join button right here on YouTube or visit my Patreon link in the video description. There's a bunch of other perks as well. And if you go top tier, you get a special thanks, just like these top tier members. Sarang Narayan, April Kurtz, PQ Deads, Dustin Bonney,
Gary O'Neill,
Josh Tanberg, Chris Huff, Doug Paget, Alinta Boston, Boom Shakalaka, Dirk. Nice and simple. This prank is officially sponsored by Jason Welch. Buzzle, Michael Lerner, Buddha Blue, and Hugh G-Rection. Thank you, top tier members. You make my heart sing almost as about the same much as this pedal, which is a lot. Right, go ahead and click there to subscribe, and don't forget to comment your pick of the week down below, and I will see you in the next video post-NAMM. See you later. I'm off to America. No, I've still got work to do. Okay, bye.